Hi, everyone, and welcome to the SciStarter Ambassador Global Launch Party on this last day of July. The summer is going by very quickly, but we are so excited to tell you about this program. We'll get started in a few minutes. We'll just let lots of people have the opportunity to join us. Welcome. In the meantime, I'm going to activate a poll, and you have access to the chat. So we'd love to know where you're joining us from. If you could complete the poll, that would be wonderful. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. We are so excited to spend our, Wednesday evening. I'm on the East Coast in Philadelphia, so it's evening here. I know it's late afternoon for some of you. And then you're going to meet everybody on our call here in just a moment, but we'll give folks a chance to join. Welcome. Let's see who we have. Robin from Kingston, Washington. Wonderful. New York City. Love to see it. Love New York. Richmond, California. Welcome. Coast to coast. Dallas. We have Illinois in the house. Mississippi, Fort Collins, Indiana. Wonderful. Hi, Kathy. Great to see you. See some familiar faces join folks. And please let us know, which community do you connect with the most? You want to select one of the poll choices, and then we're going to share that in just a little bit. Let's see who else is in the house. Phoenix, Arizona, another place I love to visit. Oh, I was like, Philadelphia. Well, that's Darlene. I knew that. Let's see who else. Upstate New York, we have Connecticut. Yay, another Phoenix folks. Portland, nice. South Carolina, New York. Wow, we have a lot of representation here today. Let's see, we're up to 70 participants. We are so excited. Let's get started. Emma, can you let us know in the poll about the poll? What did we see?
Sharing those results now. It looks like most of you learned about this and connect most with SciStarter, so woohoo. We got a good group from Volunteer Match, and the library network. We got a few of you and other communities, and then others. If you did say others, feel free to write it in the chat. If I missed it, I'll go through and check now, but welcome.
Welcome. All right. And just for a note, this event will be recorded and posted on the SciStarter YouTube channel. The slides will be available as well. Plus, you'll see we have tons of resources to tell you about this program. So if you miss anything during this webinar, no worries. We're available by email. So please just reach out. And who are we? Here's our project team across the globe, actually. We have Darlene Cavalier joining us, the founder of SciStarter, also at Arizona State University, and principal investigator of the SciStarter Ambassador Program. Darren Ash, co-principal investigator of the program, joining us from Arizona State University. Welcome. My name is Tara Cox. I probably should have introduced myself already. I am at an organization called the National Girls Collaborative Project. We focus on gender equity in STEM, and we partner very, very closely with SciStarter to help launch the Citizens and Community Science Library Network and this amazing SciStarter Ambassador Program. Also joining and on the team is Emma Giles, SciStarter in Arizona State University. Emma does all things SciStarter. She is your go-to SciStarter expert. And then Roland, joining us all the way from across the globe, does everything SciStarter as well, has really been instrumental in developing the website. And then our newest partner, Jennifer Bennett from Volunteer Match. This has been an amazing partnership to get this program up and running, joining us from California. We'd also like to thank our funders, the Institute of Museum and Library Services, and the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation for providing funding and making this opportunity possible for everybody. And so we're gonna jump right in now. I think you're all generally familiar with citizen science, but there's no one better to tell you about the power of citizen science than SciStarter founder Darlene Cavalier. So I'm passing it over to Darlene to take us through the power of citizen science.
All right, thanks, Tara. Nice to see everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Darlene Cavalier with SciStarter and with Arizona State University. So the power of citizen science. Here we go. Next slide. Let's just jump right into it. I'd love to know what you think of when you hear the term citizen science. So you can put your answers into chat there and we'll see what, I bet most of you have a pretty good idea of what it is, but go ahead, put stuff in chat if you'd like. And also you don't have to if you don't want to. But basically, I'm going to tell you what SciStarter and citizen science are. So citizen science is a way to really tap into your curiosity or your concern in a way that actually helps to advance scientific research. So that's what makes it different than kind of your average STEM program, science, technology, engineering, and math. More people are familiar with those. You might associate citizen science with kids. That's not quite right either. It's mostly aimed at adults. And why is that? That's because scientists need to trust the data. It actually is part of their research program or an authentic research program. So you can make amazing observations as part of wonderful STEM programs, but until you share it, it's not citizen science. So yes, oh, great answers here. All of them are correct. Next slide. Let's see, what can it involve? Show us, Tara. These are the most typical tasks that people do when they're involved in citizen science. You make observations, usually with your eyes, just looking at something, looking at the night sky, looking for dragonfly swarms. You're monitoring. That could be environmental monitoring. That could be health monitoring. Citizen science is science. It's serious science. It's as broad as science is. So whatever field of science you can imagine, there's a citizen science project related to that. Measuring, analyzing, collecting. And at the end of this, all of them involve sharing. So you're sharing some observation by analyzing. You're not just analyzing on your own. You're actually looking at a data set many times when you're analyzing something. And it's actually a lot easier than I just made it sound to. Next slide. Anywhere, anytime. It's open to everybody. Typically 13 or older, and that's usually for child privacy, online privacy considerations. More often than not, though, 18 and older. And again, that's because you're usually part of somebody's research project, and they themselves have institutional review board conditions that usually require somebody to be 18 and older. Next. But for any ambassador will soon to be ambassador out there or librarian, there are many projects that also have activities that supplement the project so that teens and kids and families and intergenerational activities can take part, even if the only person who can add the data and share the data is 18 or older. And you'll see some examples of that. So what does it mean? What are these citizen scientists doing to advance scientific research? Because of citizen science, we now know that your belly button has about 50 different species of bacteria in it. And we know that because participants in this project, volunteers, citizen scientists, use sterilized Q-tips to swab their belly buttons and then send that back to North Carolina State University where they were examined. Next. This project, some of you may be familiar with it already, called Stall Catchers. It's a project where you look at online videos of an ultrasound showing blood vessel movement. So you're looking at a mouse that has been infected, believe it or not, with Alzheimer's, and you're trying to help scientists. These are scientists at a lab at Cornell University, understand the relationship between stalled blood flow and disease progress. And so volunteers involved in that project, and it's a fun one to get involved in too. Our numbers are actually a little updated from this. We found that partners we work with at Verizon, who are employees who volunteer through SciStarter, their work alone has had the lab equivalent of, I think Emma can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, is it a full year? At least a full month lab equivalent time. So it takes a graduate student all that time to do the same exact things volunteers are doing. This is also a good point to bring up too, that you don't want to be afraid that you might make a mistake. Obviously, you don't want to intentionally give bad data, but almost every project has some quality of assurance built into it. In this case of stall catchers, 10 people have to see and say the same exact thing of this 2-second video clip for it to be considered research grade quality. So most projects have those checks and balances in it. The most important thing is to just get involved and ideally stay involved. Next. Don't even ask me. We have Jim Webster later on who will talk to you a little bit more. He's an amateur astronomer and loves all that space stuff and can talk to you a little bit more about some of these. Space is a very large category for citizen science, however. Anyone, anything next here? Bird watchers, there's millions of bird watchers out there. They may not even know that they don't need to do much more than they're already doing to become citizen scientists. It may just be that you help them, as your role as ambassadors, discover free apps that are out there that help them keep checklists while also sharing that data with scientists. Many times the data that's shared too is open. It's open and it's available. So there's an app maybe you've heard of, iNaturalist. Data that is submitted through iNaturalist app. A lot of that is about nature and biodiversity. That's openly available to thousands and thousands of scientists and the general public to look at these population trends for biodiversity in particular. And we discovered that invasive ants spread by hitchhiking. Many, many, many published papers are only made possible because of the input of data through citizen scientists. More and more you'll see, if you're searching for that, you'll see that that number of published papers has increased incredibly. And actually on SciStarter, if you look at scistarter.org/research, you'll see a bunch of published papers made possible actually from the data just from SciStarter. Let's actually get into SciStarter a little bit. SciStarter has really evolved since the beginning, but at the core, it's still a matchmaking site. We know that millions of people love science and nature, and we now know that thousands of scientists need their help, so SciStarter connects them. We do that to help the public, as you can see in the top right. We have a lot of communications channels. There's a podcast, there's a newsletter of more than 100,000 people. By the way, there's more than 200,000 registered users of SciStarter, millions of other people who come to the site. There's a event that Emma and Roland host every Tuesday at 2 o'clock that you can hop on and do a project together. We have partnerships with Discover Magazine. We work very closely with PBS. You'll see our work on Science Friday. We try to spread the word about opportunities for people to engage. Lots of training modules. This one that you're going to learn about today is specifically aimed at ambassadors. So we hope that you like it. I bet you do. At the bottom there, the facilitators, that's also, these are resources that you'll have access to. So facilitators could be ambassadors, they could be teachers, the Girl Scout troop leaders. They play such an important role, certainly librarians more and more. They play a very important role of bringing citizen science and SciStarter to new audiences that we actually have a hard time reaching ourselves, but everybody has an audience that they reach already. We partner up through facilitators to provide professionally designed materials, trainings, help build confidence, lots of support and resources for the facilitators, super important. The researchers I mentioned, researchers actually use data from SciStarter to learn more about the field of citizen science. Where are there opportunities to get involved? Who's left out? Who's involved? Who's not involved? What are they learning? How can we deepen their engagement? Lots of tools to track participation in that regard. Although most of the projects that are listed on SciStarter are not owned by SciStarter. You go to another website, you download somebody else's app to get involved in them. You can think of SciStarter as like a clearinghouse on steroids that has a lot of additional support, a lot of ligaments to hold this system together. And of course, for project leaders, these would be project scientists, namely, or event planners or event hosts. This is a free resource to really help recruit people that are perfect for your project, perfect for your event. So lots of different ways that we can help the public, project scientists, facilitators, and researchers. Next slide. Over to Darren. Thank you.
All right, all set? Okay. Hi, everyone. Well, thanks, Darlene, and thanks, Tara. And welcome, everyone. We're excited to have you here. And so I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes. We can go to the next slide, please, talking about our project libraries as community hubs for citizen science. And you can all hear me, right?
Yes, we were thumbs upping, but I don't think you could hear us.
Sure.
Okay, great.
Okay, so
Yes, people say yes.
Yep. So a quick overview of the project. So going back to 2017, ASU, in partnership with SciStarter, was awarded a federal research grant from the Institute for Museum and Library Services, IMLS. And the main focus of the grant was, at that time, was accessibility of scientific instruments. You know that lots of citizen science projects out there, some require specialized tools to gather data, but not everyone has access to these instruments or can afford to go out and buy whatever, a $100 air quality monitor or a light meter. But so we asked, what if libraries could have citizen science kits that they could loan out to patrons, a kit that would include the specialized tools, that would include step-by-step instructions for how to collect and submit this data. And so we conducted a pilot project. We went out in the Phoenix area and we chose 6 pilot libraries. And we invited in community members and asked them the question, what science projects are important in your community? And just trying to get an idea of what interests people out there. And a lot of people were interested in things like air quality and biodiversity, light pollution, some of the other projects that we had introduced to them. And we had evaluators, project evaluators with us, and they helped to gather that information, help us select projects, and helped us to develop and deploy these kits to pilot libraries. And at the same time, we also developed a suite of educational and promotional resources for the libraries to help them become hubs in their communities, kind of a place where community members could go and learn about citizen science, could go and engage and get involved in citizen science. And we'll review some of these resources later in today's presentation. But a lot of these resources include things like flyers and posters and stickers and guides and things like that. And then in 2019, we received a follow-up grant to fund the expansion of this project to libraries throughout Arizona, to expand beyond those original 6 pilot libraries. And we developed a media campaign to reach public audiences and continue to improve the SciStarter website. And we launched that media campaign, I think, on March 1st, 2020, gearing people up for the newly created Citizen Science Month. That was a separate project funded by the NIH, which was basically a month-long event promoting awareness of citizen science. And again, you'll learn a little bit more about that, that event shortly. And unfortunately, we ran headlong into the COVID pandemic. So it was launched on March 1st, 2020. And I think we had to shutter the campaign about 4 days later as libraries closed down and people were restricted to the physical access to the collections. But that's okay, because we pretty quickly pivoted to other online activities, helping libraries with their online activities, and promoting the suite of electronic resources that were available on the SciStarter website. All these resources that were free and downloadable. So then later in 2020, we actually had a 3rd iteration of our award. And that helped us begin scaling the project nationally and helping to stand up a citizen and community science library network. And the network of libraries is engaging their communities in citizen science, and a way to have these libraries share best practices with each other. You can actually go to the next slide, Tara, whoever's ever forwarding the slides. So we now have nearly 1,000 libraries across the nation in 49 states, all part of the network, thanks largely to the efforts of Tara Cox and the National Girls Collaborative, who've helped us establish and expand and manage this network, reaching into diverse communities, underserved communities throughout the United States. And actually, if you go to the next slide, please. So we continued our evaluation efforts, and although people loved the resources we were providing, we were beginning to hear consistent feedback from libraries about challenges they had standing up their citizen science programs. What we heard, especially post-COVID, is that libraries were short on staffing, they were short on time, they were short on resources, and they were basically stretched pretty thin. And meanwhile, we were expanding our projects and our programs. Citizen Science Month has continued to expand. More people have gotten involved. We've launched a major campaign to conduct 1 million acts of science, which is kind of a combined goal of getting hundreds of thousands of new data points in citizen science projects and thousands more people registered at SciStarter. So we were expanding, and the libraries were saying, well, we need help. And so it occurred to us, and in particular to Darlene as PI of our project and as leader of SciStarter, that we already had thousands of people out there that love citizen science, that love their local libraries, and they had lots of amazing skills to help support these libraries. And they could help bring these two worlds together, the world of citizen science and this world of libraries, and to help better libraries, better their communities, and really help the world by helping to advance and accelerate scientific research. And so now I think if we go to the next slide, I'll pass things over to Tara, who can tell us a little bit more about this idea of engaging citizen science enthusiasts. And this is where you all come in. Tara?
Thank you. Yes, so now we get to the really exciting part, which is to tell you about the SciStarter Ambassador Program that we've been developing over the last year almost. So the way that we're describing this program is that it's a selective program that provides free training and programming support to individuals from diverse backgrounds and experience levels who want to introduce SciStarter and citizen science at local organizations like their public library, like community groups, nature centers, Girl Scout troops, homeschool groups. Community organizations are endless. And so we really want to empower you all to get out there and support your communities. And that's what this program is all about. So we're going to dive into the roles of a SciStarter ambassador, the benefits and the expectations. And then we're going to hear from some folks that have been helping us to pilot and develop this program in the field, our pilot ambassadors. And then Emma's going to wrap up with telling you about how to apply and sort of the more technical aspects. But let's look big picture. What is a SciStarter ambassador? From our perspective, this is what an ambassador is. It's a champion, a connector, and a facilitator. So a SciStarter ambassador is someone who promotes the value of citizen science in their community, who wants to tell other people about what citizen science is, the power of getting involved, what the value and the benefits are. Someone that can describe SciStarter, that is able to connect more people to create SciStarter accounts that they can participate in citizen science, really a champion. Also a connector, someone who wants to go out and talk to folks like their local library directors and library staff or community-based organization staff, even local government, whoever is in your community that might care about citizen science and that can help and to facilitate engagement in your community, connecting those people to the resources on SciStarter that we've been developing, like the foundations training, like our kits and promotional materials. We have so many things that we've been developing with libraries over the past few years that we want to share them. And so a SciStarter ambassador is someone who is knowledgeable about those resources and wants to help connect other people. And then a SciStarter ambassador is also a facilitator, someone that likes to get out there and use the slides to help introduce the concept of citizen science to people in their community that might want to put on, we're going to get to some examples in a minute, but that might want to put on a bio blitz or support their library to do so. An ambassador is all of these things. It doesn't have to be all of them at once. You can just be a champion, you can just be a connector, a facilitator. The training that we've developed is really meant to help you embody these roles and be comfortable with these roles. So there was already a question in the Q&A, and we'll address this a few times. Certified ambassadors, so those who go through the entire application process and get accepted into this program, must be based in the US and at least 18 years old. Ambassadors are not considered SciStarter volunteers. You are volunteering in your communities, not for SciStarter. We're just helping to equip you with those skills and those resources to go be the best volunteers that you can be in your communities. Nor do ambassadors hold employment status at SciStarter. This is not a funded position. But these resources are all free. and they're all open and available for the general public. There is this special cohort of SciStarter ambassadors that we're looking to recruit that will become certified and get all of the additional benefits of the SciStarter Ambassador Program, which are the following: skill enhancement via the online training. We also have lots of ongoing support opportunities that we're thinking about through this peer-driven community of ambassadors that are doing work in their community, hosting events during Citizen Science Month, hosting events throughout the year. So this is a group for you, a peer-driven group where you can share your interests. And then there's also this wonderful team that we were introduced to at the beginning of the call that's here to support you. There's orientation calls, there are email, we're always available through email, and all of the resources that we have developed for you as well. SciStarter ambassadors they will also receive micro credentialing via a digital badge. If you've completed the foundations tutorial, you are familiar with this process. So this is a badge that you can put in your LinkedIn profile. It demonstrates that you have gone through the training and that you have now the skills of an ambassador. Ambassadors are also eligible for access to professionally designed event resources, and all ambassadors will receive a physical kit, a welcome kit that includes a magnetic SciStarter Ambassador badge that you can wear proudly, presentation materials, promotional materials like bookmarks and flyers that you can use to create snazzy displays if you're presenting about citizen science somewhere. So all ambassadors that are accepted into the program receive the welcome kit. And then another unique feature of this program is this public profile that you will have on SciStarter that is going to be part of a directory, so that our library network and other organizations, people that we partner with who might be looking for volunteers, can call upon you if you're in their area, and potentially reach out to collaborate together. So that information will be public to members, to people with SciStarter accounts, including our library network members, so that they can reach out to you. And we're going to talk a little bit, once the program gets up and running, how do you manage that, those collaborations? You don't obviously have to do anything that anybody asks, reaches out to, but we encourage that collaboration, and we're going to coach you through how to navigate those relationships, or how to get out there and bring more people in, how to go and reach out to your local library. With it, we have email templates. We are happy to coach people into getting more people involved. That's what we really want to do with this program. Here's some examples of things you might do as a SciStarter ambassador. You can meet with your local library director and just have a meeting to introduce them to the concept of citizen science. You can talk about the library network that Darren shared about earlier and how libraries are getting involved, what the benefits are, how to build a citizen science kit. So that's sort of a low lift, ambassador, but that is a role, right? I think one thing that Darlene, in conceptualizing this program, SciStarter has such a strong digital presence. There are, oh gosh, now I'm going to botch this, 100,000 SciStarter accounts, more.
200,000.
200,000 people that have SciStarter accounts. So it has this incredibly robust digital presence. We are hoping that the ambassador program gives us that physical presence too, not just for SciStarter, but for citizen science, to really have that physical community to represent SciStarter, citizen science, and the amazing, the power behind this movement. A SciStarter ambassador is like a sales marketing person, sort of, but with, you're not selling, everything's free. That's the most amazing part about all of this. Everything is free. There's nothing to sell. I mean, the kits for libraries, yes, there are some materials that cost money, but there are so many ways to participate in citizen science for free, and people don't know about the concept of citizen science. So if you're passionate about citizen science, it's something that you want more people to know about, then this program is for you. And we have the resources to help you make that impact for free. You might help arrange a subject matter expert to come. You might be a subject matter expert. There's lots of ambassadors like Jim, who's going to talk to you in a little bit, that is a subject matter expert in astronomy and has offered those volunteer services to libraries and other organizations. Or you can help make those connections. Send a couple of emails. Maybe you work at a local university or know somebody that does. It's about being that connector. An ambassador might help with a local Girl Scouts troop complete their Think Like a Citizen Scientist journey. If you didn't know, Girl Scouts actually has a badge that is associated with citizen science, and many Girl Scouts troops don't even know about this or engage with this. So this could be your ambassador role, is by bringing awareness and helping Girl Scouts complete their journey. Or you can go all out and host a pollinator palooza and invite people to monitor pollinator activity. Fran's going to tell you a little bit about her program in Fort Lauderdale, and which was similar to a pollinator palooza. Like I said, we have tried to think of everything that you might need. We're always developing new stuff. We probably have too much stuff, but we're here to support ambassadors in going out into their community. So if there's something that you think you might need, let us know, and we're happy to work on that. So what are the expectations? There are some prerequisite requirements that Emma's going to tell you about in a little bit, including completing those, the foundations training and the SciStarter Ambassador training. That is an online free self-guided tutorial. There is a very brief application, and for those that are accepted, there is a third-party screening through a background check. Ambassadors are expected to attend a virtual orientation with other ambassadors just to get to know us a little bit better. We can get to know you a little bit better. And then obviously creating and maintaining that public profile on SciStarter is important. And ambassadors are expected to support at least 2 citizen science engagement opportunities a year, one of which must occur during Citizen Science Month, because we really are focused on a lot of engagement in that month. But again, those opportunities can be as simple as having a meeting with your local library to tell them about citizen science. It doesn't have to be 2 pollinator paloozas with your entire town. And we have different examples of light lifts, heavier lifts, but just 2 engagement opportunities, and we're going to support you through that. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to the real important people here, our pilot ambassadors, and Jennifer Bennett, who's going to guide this conversation.
Thanks, Tara. I'm going to do just a quick introduction on our 3 pilot ambassador representatives that are here with us today. And then we're going to have a great conversation about the work that they've done so far and sort of what brought them to citizen science. First, I want to introduce Robin Salthouse. Robin is a retired adult services supervisor librarian from the Maricopa County Library District in Arizona. Fran Smith is also joining us. She joined SciStarter Ambassador Pilot Program starting in 2023 to help test the training and the program model that you're learning about today. And Jim Webster is joining us. He's an amateur astronomer and astrophotographer from New Jersey, and he's a member of the Astronomical Society of the Toms River area since 2017. They have more credentials with them as well, but I want to get to the best part, which is the conversation. Fran, let's go ahead and start with you. Can you just tell us a little bit about your inspiration or your motivation for getting involved as an ambassador for citizen science?
I can get a little long-winded, but I'll do my best to keep it short because you already know, Jennifer, I love to talk. So when I was approached by the library director about SciStarter, and I saw in citizen science, I saw the amazing resources that was available. The first thing I said was, "Is it free?" And she said, "Yes." Well, to you and the community, absolutely. And the way everything was just laid out, it wasn't hard to follow. I said, my community needs to know about this. They need to know that this is available to them, and it's not intimidating. It's not meant to be intimidating. It's meant for us all to participate as a global community, to get involved and to add just a little bit or a lot of it to what's going on in the world? Instead of complaining about something, how can you be the change? And I saw that and I said, okay, we can start that initiative through doing something small, whether it be learning about pollinators or mosquitoes, through these free, amazing resources. And then we can, grow and glow and go global and see what more we can do. So again, the resources, the tools, they were amazing. I said, sign me up. I'm all about it. Free is for me.
And tell us a little bit, I know you've had some great success with your pollinators.
Oh my Lord.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So recently we had our library has been participating in the summer reading program, and this was the first year that they included SciStarter. And they said, Fran, would you like to do something with pollinators? You love pollinators. I said, yes, I do. Anything for the pollinators. And so we developed, this was prior to SciStarter. We had a pollinator garden, and it so happened to work out. We have observing pollinator kit. And we didn't know who was going to come. We just opened it to the community at large. If you're interested, seasoned, young, it doesn't matter, enthusiast, curious, this is open for you. And drew in the patrons, they came in, and it was incredible, all the different information, and it wasn't hard presenting, honestly. I was so thankful that everything was just laid out. I said, all we have to do is delve into the kit. Let's take it a step at a time, a tool at a time. And we went outside, and for the first time ever in the pollinator garden, we saw caterpillars, not just our monarchs, not to put down our monarchs. I always see monarch caterpillars in our area. We need the monarchs, right? But I saw swallowtail caterpillars, and there are children, they've never seen caterpillars in their life, believe it or not, like in person. They see them in books. They're like, this is so cool. Wait, they're right here in this garden, and we can use these tools to observe them, the binoculars, and they have the Audubon book to go along with it, and they're identifying like, yes, this is what it looks like. Isn't this cool? And the parents are taking pictures like, wow, because you never know what you're going to get when you go outside. They may be there, they may not be there, and for them to have their eyes just wide open and excited, like, thank you, SciStarter. Thank you, God. This is so amazing. This is actually taking place. And they just left feeling more encouraged and wanting to check out a kit at the library at the end. And that's what I want to inspire. Not just, oh, this was fun. This was a great experience. And then, no, they checked out a kit, and the goal was met. So I was so happy about that.
That's such a great story, Fran. And you talked about the resources from the library, the kit, and just that lifelong enthusiasm and excitement for science that you were able to do with just a little bit of coordination on your end.
Yeah, and it was just so easy. And I know if I had any questions, you, Jennifer, Emma, Darlene, everyone, everything has been laid out and set up. And I apologize for the noise. I just walked in. My husband is mountain biking, and I am by myself with 4 children. So if this is real life, and this is what's so great about SciStarter. Also, you can do this with your family. You can do this with your friends. You can do this with the community. It's meant for everyone, not just an expert. It's not meant to be that way. Experts are great. Like we have Jim. Experts are wonderful. But this is for everybody, regardless where you are on the spectrum.
Thanks, Fran. Then now let's go to Jim. Jim, I know your motivation and inspiration is a little bit different. Do you want to tell us how you got started as an ambassador for citizen science in your community?
Sure. It initially started with Milky Way photography, which you can tell from my background is important. And within joining the astronomy group and seeing the problems that we were having with light pollution, I started exploring more about light pollution and got started with Dark Sky International. I'm one of their delegates now. So I got a couple of hats besides SciStarter. And in researching the resources I would need to help me in reference to light pollution, I found the Globe at Night program that you could find within SciStarter. And, one thing led into another with that. And I got more involved with other SciStarter programs, partially through my job within Verizon. And I now provide presentations in reference to astronomy, light pollution, which all include various citizen science projects, as well as presentations to, libraries, nature groups on the citizen science projects themselves. I have like a space citizen science and earth citizen science that I'll give introductory programs to people, as well as demonstrations. Um, uh,
Yeah.
I think at the time, one of the first ones, I actually developed a lot of my own material and actually put them into the Google Drives to be shared out with people as they need. And if people do need help, they can reach out to me and we could brainstorm and try to figure things out.
Wonderful. And I know you're a little bit like the face or the poster child of citizen science. You've been featured in articles, but is there something that stands out for you as being the thing that brings you back? Because you've been doing this for a while now, and you sort of expanded from just doing the Globe at Night to really being an ambassador. How did you make that transition?
I'm comfortable in getting in front of people and, talking to them about the things I'm interested in. One of the things that sticks out the most for me, though, was a third grader who told me that when she was little, she wanted to be an astronomer. And then after I got finished doing my presentation for her, it just made her want to be an astronomer even more.
That's great. And I know you talked about creating your own resources, and really, I think it's such an exciting opportunity for people to come in and find those solutions or fill those missing gaps, and really inspire people.
Yeah, I'm delving now into some of the deeper citizen science projects that actually involves telescopes right now. So now I'm doing citizen science introduction and SciStarter introduction during star parties.
Fabulous.
So there's like a big circulation of the public going by, and I'll have the red lights on poster boards next to the telescope, showing them what they're looking at. And the type of scope I use makes it more available for people with visual and physical deficiencies. So it allows them to actually get involved in the various projects as well.
Such a great story. All right, Robin, let's come to you. What brought you to citizen science and getting involved as an ambassador?
Well, I've been actually with this program as a pilot library in Arizona since 2017. However, when I retired and moved to Washington, I wanted to stay involved. And I've actually been working with groups like the local Boys and Girls Club, who I use those amazing pollinator worksheets to do kind of an introductory session on what are pollinators. The next week, we went out with the campers and we actually did observations and put the data into the Great Sunflower Project. And I got great feedback from the director and assistant director because they heard children or the campers after word saying, and now I love pollinators. And this past year, I worked with our county park natural resources person, supervisor. We also connected with the Girl Scouts and we did a bio blitz in a local forest, actually right behind my house. And to prepare that, because citizen science is a new idea here, I did several trainings open to the public, but especially attended by Girl Scout leaders and some Girl Scouts to not only explain what a BioBlitz is, but what is citizen science, how to download the iNaturalist app, and how to prepare for the BioBlitz we did at the end of April during Citizen Science Month. Again, I had great resources, social media pictures through SciStarter, and that great introductory slide deck that I modified to fit my needs to help people learn about the project we were participating in for the BioBlitz and what is citizen science.
That's fabulous, Robin. All right, I'm going to come back to you, Fran. If somebody's on this call and they're maybe interested, but they're not quite sure if they should make that jump, what's that one piece of advice you would give to somebody who's thinking about becoming a SciStarter ambassador?
For me, I would say my assistant wants to join. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
of course, we love assistants.
Here's my assistant. I hope you like soon to be 2-year-olds. One bit of advice I can say is that you're not alone. And I love the community that we have. Everyone is so helpful. Initially, I thought, oh my, this might be too hard for me. I don't know if I'll be able to balance everything, but it's not meant, again, to be intimidating. Everyone was always offering help. You say, if you need me, here's our Tuesday meeting. Here's our group on Facebook. Go online. There are resources that are online, and everything is laid out so well on the SciStarter website also, that I honestly, there are times I'm like, I can read it. If I could read, I could find it. So I'll be okay. But at the same time, I want to let everybody know you are not alone. There may be times you may feel that way, but there are others who've been involved and that has gone ahead of you also, that are willing to provide advice too. And again, I could reach out. I know there are times reaching out to Tara, and I said, I don't know. And she's like, this is what you need to do. It's here. Go on to this. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. And I appreciate that. I appreciate everyone here. And Emma, I want to say thank you for creating that. She's like, what? The on Canva, the Citizen Science Month calendar. That was a fantastic resource also. Like I said, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, which is great. So thank you so much to everyone.
And Fran, you are a testament to a busy wife and mother. So if you can find time to do citizen science, it's probably approachable for most people. Jim, what's your piece of advice? If somebody's not quite sure if they should get involved, what would you recommend?
I basically would just say, go for it. It's for everybody. Never listen to somebody that tells you you can't. That's not a real word in my vocabulary. I'm going to find a way of doing it. So I would say you should be able to as well.
And I think too, you're also a testament to finding your way through, right? What works for you, there's flexibility, there's the opportunity to put your own stamp on something if you want to.
Yes.
Robin, let's end with you. You've been doing this for a while as well. You've been involved. What's your piece of advice that you would give to someone?
Well, make sure you use those fantastic resources and also be persistent and patient. Results don't always happen in a day. We lucked out really well with finding a champion through the local Girl Scout Council. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes you just have to be persistent and patient to get the word out. So, have fun in the meantime and hang in there.
Thank you so much, Fran, Jim, and Robin. I really appreciate you sharing your stories. And now I'm going to turn this back over to Emma.
Awesome. And apologies that you might not be able to see me, or hopefully actually. So thank you. We're at the part where I'm going to tell you how to actually start this process of becoming an ambassador. And we're low on time, so I'm going to talk a little bit fast. I apologize. There are things on the screen to help you out. And if you need to see these again, all of it is on the website that we'll share with you momentarily as well. So hopefully that helps. So prerequisites, and then the application, and then the deadlines. Go ahead and click all the way through this screen, and then we'll cover it all. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So prerequisites. As someone who will be working with the SciStarter materials, it is important that you have a SciStarter account so that we can connect you to an email. Finishing the foundations of citizen science tutorial is imperative to understanding the basics. And by receiving that badge, you do that with having your SciStarter account because it'll be on your profile and it'll be sent to you via email so you can post it on your LinkedIn and other locations to show off your awesomeness. And the same goes for the ambassador tutorial. You as in going through the tutorial will be doing a similar process of learning these specific skills that will end in a badge if you go through the full process. As someone who might not go through the entire process of becoming an ambassador, the tutorial is still welcome to everyone, but you will not receive a badge unless you go through the full process. And again, to reiterate, you do have to be 18 years old or older and based in the US to do this full process. That said, big reason for that in talking to people who are younger than 18, you would be on a searchable database. And so this is also to protect you. So once you become 18, join us. Go ahead to the next slide. So those are before you become. To actually apply for the ambassador role, if you click through this, there is an application. It's a set of questions. It's just where you can share why this is important to you, why you want to bring it to your community, and give more thought to the process of what it means to become an ambassador, and a commitment form to participating as an ambassador and doing at least 2 events throughout the year, which includes one during Citizen Science Month, where you'll get even more support because we are all about that. We do have a third-party screening that will happen. That'll happen in the background after you complete your application. And then if you are approved and everything is all good, you'll receive confirmation via email from us, and you'll receive your ambassador badge at that point. So the badge is only for those who actually go through the full process. Awesome. All right. And then lastly, we do have our upcoming deadlines. So we are doing this ambassador program within cohorts, which means if you want to be in the first cohort, all these steps need to be done by September 15th. There are more cohorts, so don't panic if you're on the 15th and like, oh no, I haven't done something. No worries, we'll have more cohorts. So this is just the first early beginners. You start tomorrow, you can get there. And it's pretty quick, honestly, but it involves all of these things that are in there. So the prerequisites would be done and then the application process. So once you have that confirmation of acceptance via email, that's when you know you're within the first cohort by the 15th. All right, and I'm going to drop a couple of links in the chat so you can follow along with these things. We do have an application guide and overview that you can use to your benefit, which is in the chat right now, as well as the webpage that is for your application. Also keep in mind, because we're doing a third-party screening, it does maybe take a couple of days. And so before the 15th, like a week in advance, having that done would be optimal to be in that first cohort. And that's it. I ran through it really fast. If there are questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A, and we'll actually talk about questions right now. So I'll turn it back over to Tara.
Thank you, Emma. That was good. And like Emma said, read through that application and commitment, the overview and application guide that has the application questions in there. You can review them before you type them up, and get started. If you haven't done the foundations training, that's the best, that is the place to start. So you can start that as soon as you have your SciStarter account. So I'm going to answer some questions now. There's some great questions about, who should really be a part of this role. Sue said, I'm a library director that's interested but limited time. Anybody that's US based, and we'll talk about that in just a second, and 18 or older, if you want to be an ambassador in your community, then absolutely you should go through the training. For libraries in particular, we sort of envision that this would help support you by helping other people that are are interested in this also complete the SciStarter Ambassador training and become ambassadors, so that because we know of the limited time of library staff. So absolutely go through the training, becoming a SciStarter Ambassador, and then also encourage others so that you have that support at your library to host events together and collaborate. Right now, this is only US based because it is federally funded by the Institute for Museum Library Services, which is a federal agency. So that is why right now the official certified ambassador piece is US based. But given that we're seeing so much interest internationally, I think that is absolutely something that we're thinking about for the future. That does not preclude you from taking the training. It just means you can apply to receive the welcome kit and become a certified ambassador and be able to call yourself a SciStarter ambassador. However, if you are interested in serving as a volunteer in your community and wanting to bring citizen science engagement to your community, you are absolutely welcome to use the resources. You just won't be considered a SciStarter ambassador. No, and let me just answer that other question. Are you required to be a SciStarter ambassador to do projects related to citizen science? Absolutely not. Anybody can do citizen science. That's what that's the power behind this movement. In order to have the credentials of a SciStarter ambassador on your LinkedIn profile, on your SciStarter profile, you will have to go through that training and be accepted into the program. But anybody can do citizen science, and anybody can talk about it with their community as well. And we do have resources for that. Any other questions that we should be answering publicly?
I think we went through and answered the ones in the Q&A pretty quickly, actually. We might be okay. I might have missed some in the chat though.
Yes, I'm just saying, I did the foundations tutorial. Where is this tutorial? Great question, Michelle. I'm glad you asked. It is on that apply page. So it is not where the other tutorials are at the moment, because it is part of the process of, you know, you have to complete the first step, which is the foundation. So you can be our first, you know, you could be our test subject right now. If you go to that apply page and you say you've completed the foundations, you should be able to click on the tutorial and complete the tutorial. Let us know. Let us know. We're still maybe working out the glitches, but hopefully not. Hopefully you should be able to get there and apply and take that tutorial. And then, you know, give us feedback. Oh, the one other thing I didn't mention as a requirement is that there will be some evaluation associated with this program right now, because we are still in the formative phase, or, you know, in the early stages of this program. We're not evaluating you as a person. You're actually helping to evaluate us and say, like, does this program meet the needs, or, you know, are you building the skills that we hope that you build? Where can we improve? So that will be part of the cohort as well. And you'll see those evaluation pieces throughout. Great. Michelle says she sees the training there to start. Kelly says, how long is the online ambassador training? It should not take you longer than, yeah, I was going to say about an hour, about an hour. Any other questions? We do have one exit poll if you want to quickly throw that up, Emma. Which of the following are you likely to do after this webinar? Apply to be an ambassador, encourage volunteers to join the program, take the tutorial only if you're not eligible, for example, to become the full ambassador, tell others, or I am not sure. You can vote for many different things. Darlene, anything else you want to add as we wrap up?
No, I mean, so many good questions. These, everybody who spoke today, just phenomenal. I love seeing the chat discussions happening, and you can imagine how that might evolve into a nice network here, maybe on Facebook. At some point, we'll be back with questions about the way you might want to communicate with each other to have some kind of peer-to-peer community going there. Please spread the word. This is amazing for you to share with volunteers at your library if you're a librarian who's tuning in. And the idea here is that they will be available to help support you and your future projects, but it's not a condition of the mini grants that we just gave out. It's really not a condition. All of this is just opt-in, you know, for people who want to do it. And you can get through some of the training and decide, I don't really want to be an official ambassador. That's okay too. You have the knowledge and everything that you just gained from the trainings to introduce it to your family, or, you know, your friends and family too. Michelle, I don't think we do have a Facebook group yet. Oh,
we
yes,
do.
we
We
do.
have one for ambassadors. It's still private. I think, you know, once people get accepted into the program, they'll be able to join that. But there's a SciStarter Facebook group. If you're not part of that, you should join that. And if you're a library, there's a citizen and community science Facebook group. So you can join that as well. And let's see. Oh, go ahead.
I agree with Michelle and Mary here that this idea of like hearing from other ambassadors will be really helpful. And we're going to learn from you there too.
Yes. And I think we should, you know, I had tears in my eyes listening to the three of you, and it makes me think that we will definitely be calling on you and other ambassadors as future recruiting to help us do, recruit for future cohorts, because your stories are so powerful. And thank you all for sharing today. I know we're at time. We appreciate you all, for those who joined us, for our team that helped to make this happen, and the ambassadors that are doing the work. Thank you. Thank you. The power of citizen science is real, and we really hope that you join this program. This will be available if you want to watch it again, and we will send an email out with all of this information as well to all folks who have registered. Thank you all. Have a great rest of the night.
Thank you. Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you so much.